Without the video, you wouldn't believe it was true.
Filed against a Tennessee deputy. He is accused of groping a woman and forcing her to choose between jail and a late-night baptism.
Welcome to another episode of Earning the Hate. So this deputy, who has been accused of rape, where's all the charges? That must be in the other article. Let's listen to the news story.
In cell phone video recorded by another Hamilton County deputy, Shandele Riley claims this is the moment Deputy Daniel Wilkey baptized her against her will.
Baptized against your will by an agent of the government who has you detained, who has already written you a ticket for having marijuana, and then says he won't take you to jail if you let me baptize you. And another government employee videotapes it. Wow.
The 2-minute video shows Riley following Wilkey into Saudi Lake. After the baptism happened, they hugged.
We believe that the video...
Yeah, the reason why they hugged is because she was unlawfully detained. She didn't want to go to jail. The abuser always tries to get close with their abuser. I've told this many times that when a child is being abused by one of the parents, if you see him walking, the child will be hanging on one, and you would think that's the one that's protecting him, when in fact it's usually the ones that's abusing him because they know they don't want to piss that one off. She hugged him because she was being abused and she didn't want to piss off her abuser. And, I mean, it's just ridiculous what this defense attorney of this cop says.
Evidence is what supports all of Ms. Riley's claims.
Riley died in April from an apparent drug overdose.
So they found her dead, which I did in another article. In this article, they said they found her dead after she sued for a traffic stop. And of course, TBI, Tennessee Bureau of Investigations, is investigating this also.
Robin Flores is representing her estate for claims Wilkey violated Riley's civil rights. In February of 2019, Wilkey pulled Riley over for illegally tinted windows. That's when Wilkey wrote her a citation for marijuana possession. But Riley claims Wilkey said she wouldn't be arrested and could go about her business if she got baptized.
Out-freaking-rageous. I mean, this is just as bad as he says, if you give me head or let me have sex with you, I'll let you go. This is just such abuse under the color of authority that it's just out-freaking-rageous. Now, there's going to be some religious folks out there that probably think this is okay because, oh, he's going to help her find God and all that. But this is just wrong on every level.
In court filings, Flores writes Wilkey touched her all over her body and had her shake her bra vigorously during the search.
The illegal seizure at the house, the duration of the seizure, as I put into my brief, far exceeded what was necessary for detention.
Please point to me where there's any sign that Jacob Goforth or anyone coerced Ms. Riley into...
So this is a sleazy defense attorney that's saying, prove it. Now look, the state should have to prove charges against somebody. You got another deputy that was also fired, I guess, no longer works for the agency, who videotaped this, who knows what happened, and you got the video evidence, and you got the woman telling you what happened. And now you're saying, please show me where it was coerced and forced. So in this defense attorney's little brain, he thinks a jury is going to believe that this woman who got stopped for tinted windows and given a receipt and told by the cops she could go to jail just made this up and decided to ask this cop to baptize her on a cold night in the middle of the night and let another deputy videotape. That's what this guy is selling. And if you're buying it, well, that's because you're an idiot.
Being baptized.
Jerry Tidwell represents Goforth in the case. In their response, defendants argue there is no proof Riley was coerced into the baptism and does not appear to be in any video filed in court. They also argue Wilkey searched Riley's bra because it was a common place for hiding drug paraphernalia.
He arrived at the boat ramp knowing that a baptism was occurring. What he didn't know is it was somebody that had been sighted. He finds that out on the scene. And
okay, so maybe he's representing the guy that videotaped this guy because he's trying to say, I didn't know there was anything wrong. The fact that another deputy thinks it's okay for a deputy in the middle of a shift to drag a girl out to a lake and baptize her tells me they're both freaking idiots.
Has a minute or so to react.
That's when Tidwell says he started recording this video.
By the power invested in me and the Holy Spirit.
Oh, it's in the power of the Holy Spirit. It must be good.
To record the moment in case it...
He wasn't recording a moment. He was recording a wet t-shirt contest that he wanted to see this girl cold in the middle of the lake, dripping wet with a tight t-shirt, and they could look at it later. He wasn't recording this for proof of anything. It's bullshit. They were both working together.
was needed later.
To say that he shouldn't have done that, I can understand people say that. However, tell me what law he broke.
I'll tell you what law he broke. He has a duty to protect this woman's constitutional rights, unlawful search and seizure. This woman was unlawfully detained. She was unlawfully molested and unlawfully forced to do something while in the custody of a deputy under threat of being going to jail. What do you mean, tell me what he did wrong? Are you kidding me? Here's another article where I guess they go into his other rapes or whatever. This fine, outstanding police officer that idiots keep voting for gun control because they believe if only cops had guns, then you'd be safe.
Former Hamilton County deputy facing dozens of criminal charges and 7 civil lawsuits is back in the spotlight again. Good evening and thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Kim Chapman. Latricia Thomas received the exclusive video of former deputy Daniel Wilkey baptizing a woman he pulled over through a records request to federal court. She shows you what it reveals and brand new testimony from the sheriff saying the strange encounter should have been investigated sooner.
No shit.
What you are about to see in this cell phone video happened back in 2019, but you're seeing it with your own eyes for the first time right now. A baptism is a pretty common sight in the South, but this cell phone video entered as evidence in federal court shows a sheriff's deputy baptizing.
So the sheriff deputy took his pants off in his underwear in order to baptize this girl. I mean, and this other deputy is claiming I didn't think anything was wrong. I mean, shit, in all my years as a cop, hell, I don't know, I must have done 0 freaking baptisms on duty. Are you kidding me? Let me think. In all my 30 years as a cop, I don't think I've seen 1 baptism on duty. But somehow this guy thought this was okay, so he's going to videotape it. What an idiot.
A woman he just pulled over. That deputy, Daniel Wilkey, seen stripped down to his boxer shorts. The video.
Let's go ahead and get sexual molestation, flashing, indecent exposure, forcing a woman under the collar to go out in a lake with you in your underwear. There's so many freaking charges here.
Recorded by his former partner, Jacob Goforth, and the woman you see in the water with Wilkey, Shandele Riley, one of the 7 people suing him, saying Wilkey violated her civil rights.
1 of 7. Are you telling me this guy did this 7 times?
The suit says Wilkey told Riley he would only give her a citation instead of take her to jail for marijuana remnants in her car if she let him do this.
This is why I've been saying lately that discretion is being abused so much and so often now. It has to be removed from a cop's ability to give discretion anymore because it's just freaking outrageous that cops are not held accountable.
You believe that Jesus Christ died on the cross? Within 3 days later.
In court filings, Daniel Wilkey.
Maybe this guy can get a second job as a Catholic priest when he gets freaking after he's convicted, and the Catholic Church can move him around and hide him, and he can baptize women everywhere.
He admitted to baptizing Riley. However, he claimed she specifically asked the deputy to do it so she could, quote, turn away from her life of drug abuse and crime.
Oh.
But the lawsuit says Riley felt horribly violated. And we may never know her whole story. She died in April of this year. A medical examiner's report blames a drug overdose.
Well, they blame the drug overdose. She's the one who put the drugs in her system. I mean, she's no angel, but it doesn't matter. This isn't about the criminal. It isn't about what somebody did. It's about government using their power that's unchecked and uncontrolled to do evil and violate the Constitution with no accountability and immunity.
In later filings, a federal judge wrote any reasonable observer would conclude that the effect of the baptism was an unequivocal endorsement of Christianity. This 250-page deposition of Sheriff Jim Hammond reveals an internal affairs investigation wasn't opened into this bizarre encounter until months later, even though Wilkey's superiors knew what happened. The sheriff...
Oh, that's huge. I didn't know that. So the sheriff knew that other people happened and they didn't investigate this? Jesus Christ. Corruption through and through. Everybody ought to be going to prison. If he violated or raped or did any other criminal events after this that they knew, they're all culpable.
Admits, quote, this was serious enough a case, it should have been. Now, Wilkey is no longer a sheriff's deputy. He resigned before he could be fired. He still also faces dozens of criminal charges in Hamilton County Court.
We also learned in those court filings that the district attorney reviewed 160 videos of Wilkey pulling over suspects. Of those, the documents show approximately 98 of them show what the DA called possible criminal activity.
Holy cow. Really? 98 out of 160 criminal. Who the hell's running? That whole damn department needs to be investigated. The civil rights did on this deputy and did a couple of events. He did two. This is one, and there's a part 2 that he gives a link to. Okay, so a little earning hate, just outrageous to me. And I'm sure there'll be some cops like, man, he was trying to help her save her life, and Rick, and he's a good guy. Jesus, how many rape cases? Let me see. The 2019 former deputy was indicted on 44 charges, including rape, assault, official oppression, after he pulled over Miss Riley in February. Wow. Wow. Earning the hate. Back the blue till it happens to you. Pulling that dirt.